Good evening, everybody. We'll begin today's session. Yeah, Pratik has suggested me to take up a lot of doubt questions. There are around 29, 30, actually there are 30 questions that I've received as doubts for different question papers. I'll be first taking that up of today, okay? Yeah. This is the front view of a solid object. The solid object looks same. What you see here, it looks same from all the sides when looked at from all the sides. What you have to find is how many surfaces does it have? How many surfaces does this object contain? All right. So you're given, the good thing is you're at least given the plan view. So what you see here is a plan view, okay, of this object. So we'll go from top to bottom. So this object is symmetrical. So what we are going to do is we are just going to count the surfaces of this much part first and then multiply that by 6. Whatever surface you find here, we'll multiply that by 6. We'll go with the first one. This object which we see on the top looks like this in plan, which means it's a cone. So a cone will have one surface. This object, which is at the bottom here, looks again like a circle in plan, which means it's a cylinder and it will also have one surface. The next part is this form. This has an edge here, which is this form, which means this wo wala aapka jo form hai is this one. So that is a cube. A cube or a cuboid. So it will have 4 edges, four surfaces of the edge, corners, these corners, there will be 4, plus this surface on top. So that comes to 5 surfaces. The bottom part looks this. This is the bottom part, which looks something like this in elevation, which means it's a cylinder. Now this cylinder will have one surface on the edge, plus on the top, in the top part, you see this edge, this surface exposed, this surface, and then, so there are 4 such surfaces exposed on the top, plus 4 surfaces of the top. So we just add this up, 1 plus 1, 2, plus, so 12, basically 12 surfaces on one side. Multiply by, this is going to happen on all the 6 sides, 72, which is the total number of surfaces that this symmetrical object will have. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. A necklace made up of white and black cube heads are arranged in a particular sequence in the following figure. Find out the number of black beads. Find out the number of black beads. Okay. Blue mark indicates the starting point and the red mark indicates the end point. There is some logical sequence to the arrangement of the beads. So blue is the starting point, okay, which is what is given. So it starts from here and then it ends here. Now so this is where it starts. So when it starts from here, I'll just start writing down the number of beads which are coming. 1. So 1, 1. This is black, then white. Then 2. This is black. 2 ke baad you have 3, which is white. 3 ke baad you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is black beads. These are the 5 black beads that I'm talking about. After that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, It should be 8 after that. Why am I saying after that it should be 8? Because if you follow just this much part, this is actually going in some kind of a Fibonacci series, what we call 1 plus 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3, 1 plus 2 will come 3, 2 plus 3 will happen 5, 3 plus 5 comes 8. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to keep on writing what will come next in the Fibonacci series. And the 8th one is, sorry, black. It's white. Okay. After 8, 5 plus 8, 13. 8 plus 13, 21, white. 13 plus 21, 34. 34 plus 21, 55. Then after 55, you have 89, which would be eventually black. Now, if you look at the last point, the last sequence, just observe this much part. Just observe this sequence, which is, sorry, not that sequence. Sorry. This is the end sequence which comes. We are not able to gauge how many cubes are there, but we know at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Minimum 11. So it definitely has exceeded beyond 13. Okay. So we just want, what we want to know is up to what number will the Fibonacci series continue going on. In order to find that, what we'll do is we'll find how many cubes are actually there in this solid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a cube, 5 on one side, 5 on this side, and then a 5 also on the other side. So 125 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it comes to around 133 cubes in total. I know there are 133 cubes in total. In this case, all I have to do is just keep on adding, just keep on adding the total thing here. Wherever it comes to 133, I will stop. I know that that will be the last number. Okay. So up till 55, the total that I got was around it's actually more than it's around it's way more than 133 up till 55, and also the last number that I came across was 34, which is a black color, which means आपका last वाला sequence यहाँ पे black है. It won't go beyond 189. So it won't go beyond 89, but it also won't go beyond 55, because 133 plus 89, it's not possible. And 133, if you do it minus 55, it will come to about 78. That 78 minus 34, which comes to about, the next part will be 44. So, just by logical sequence also, and also by following this sequence of black, white, I can say that since the last part which ends here is a black number, this is the Fibonacci series where it ends in the cube. After I find that, all I need to do is what I have to find out the number of black beads that are there. I will just add up the numbers that have black beads that are here. So it will be 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 13 plus 34, which will come to 55, which is the answer that I'm looking at. In these kind of questions, when you reach here, and if you're getting some kind of a sequence like this, 1 1 2 3 5 for any, like, I remember one of the question which came earlier, which was about COVID and number of house getting infected, number of people in the house getting infected, and it was increasing exponentially. It will, if you're getting this kind of a number sequence of 1 1 2 3 5, follow the Fibonacci path, you will eventually find the answer. So in this case, just by saying 1 1 2 3, up till this point only, I was clear that, okay, it is a Fibonacci series which will eventually continue. To what extent was something which I had to find. So I found out the total number of cubes that are there in this whole cube. Post that, I added everything and then found out where exactly with that capping come. So definitely I know it won't go beyond 89. That's not possible because the number was 133. So 89 ke beyond, it's not possible that it can go. It can, of course, it has to be within 55. But I know यहाँ पे white आ रहा है आपका. Last color is black, so it definitely has to end here. यहाँ पे. Even without, I would say, even without color code, even without counting, I can get that. So I know this is the capping part. If this is the last number, all I have to do is just extract the black colored beads here and then add it together, which gives me the answer 55. Any doubts, any questions? After 8 would be 13, Kavya. 5 plus 8. 5 plus 8 is 13. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. Which of the option is or are rotation of the figure P? Which of the option is or are the rotation of the figure P? Let's start with comparing the question figure first. So in this case, or rather in these kind of questions, we'll first start with comparing the question figure first. Oh, sorry, not the question figure. We'll start with comparing the options with each other first. Okay. One pattern which which is very clearly, I mean, you don't need to doubt or, look at it again, is this part. I mean, if you look at the question options within themselves, this attribute where you have an edge और वो edge के perpendicular पे आपको ये point मिल रहा है, that is actually not happening consistently in any of the option. For instance, in case of option C, I am getting a condition which looks something like this. In case of option D, I am getting a condition which actually looks something like this for that same part. In case of B, I am getting a condition which actually, 1 second, where exactly it is. Yeah, here. In case of A, that condition happens. So if you look at that part very clearly, this edge and the perpendicular point, or the point where that passes through, the perpendicular kind of passes through, it is seen in A. It is seen, one second, it is seen in A. B is not there, C is clearly not there, and it is seen in D. So A and D will be the correct answers. Any doubts, any questions in this? Okay. The image shows distribution of marks secured by 2,500 students of a particular district in 4 subjects: English, Maths, Hindi, Science. We have to find which statements would be true. If 50 marks are required for passing, more students will fail in English. If 50 marks are required for passing, more students will fail in English than in Hindi. Comparison between English and Hindi, so I just don't need to read anything else. English and Hindi, if the passing mark is 50, yeah. So the line of 50 will fall here somewhere. And the line of 50 will fall here, middle, in case of English. So what is given is 50 is the passing required. Most students will fail in English than in Hindi, which is true. English, your failing proportion is so much, which is half of the batch, versus in Hindi, it is less, 1/4, relatively. So A is correct. If 75 marks are required for securing a distinction, most distinction will be awarded in English. If 75 marks are required for getting any distinction, 75 का आपका लाइन यहाँ पे आएगा, 75 का आपका लाइन यहाँ पे तो आएगा ही नहीं, 75 हिंदी में भी नहीं आएगा, 75 it will come, sorry, here. Now, if 75 is a distinction, most distinction will be awarded in science and not in English, so B is wrong. In the next part, the average marks secured in science is highest compared to other subjects. Highest average marks secured in science is 65. Maths में 66 है, English में 50 है, Hindi में 57. So highest marks are in maths and not in science. So C गलत है. The students have performed more uniformly in maths than in any other subjects. The students have performed more uniformly in maths than in any other subjects. So maths में on the from the median, one second. This difference is 60, I think it's 60 only, this number. So this distance is 6 marks, or ye wala distance is 72, so 6 marks. In science, this distance is 65 and 50, so 15, and that distance is 15. In English, वो दोनों the same होता है, but I'll just write on one side only, it's 30. And in Hindi, that comes to 15. So yes, students have more consistently performed in maths because this distance from the center median is less in maths compared to other. And in terms of English, they're not, it's not that uniform because the variation is 30 from the median till the extreme values. So consistent performance or uniform performance is happening in maths, which is true. So D is correct. So A and D will be the correct answers. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. Choose the correct options. What will the black line look for? Will be for 1 and 2 here. In this case, you are given some clues here. Ki iska black line will look for the blue line this, the black line will be this. So what how I solved this was I looked it for clues. Okay, where do I find this shape, for example? This kind of shape I found here. The corresponding part of the black line was a solid line. So I know this will be a solid line. Next is a C. This kind of shape I found here, which means कि यहाँ से ये ऐसे होगा. Next is a vertical thing. This I found here. So I know this will be a vertical thing. The option where I find this is A. B is relatively, but it's more lower. A may, it's more in the center. So B and C I won't consider. And A and D I will still consider. In the next part, I will follow that same technique. Where do I find the next part here? Ye wala. This kind of part, 1 second. I'm actually not able to find this, so I'm just keeping this on rest. But if you observe the top part of A and D both, it is horizontal. ये top part A और D दोनों का horizontal है, so I'm assuming that okay, maybe it's horizontal because I don't know what is going to come there. In the next part, I will say this part, yeah, is this ये वाला part. This part and this part and this part are same, which corresponds to horizontal line, which means यहाँ पे horizontal line आएगा ऐसा पूरा. So this is happening in A, so A will be the correct answer. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. Figure P shows an isometric view of an object made with a single sheet of cardboard. Figure Q shows the front view. Which option shows the object after it is cut open? Now in this case, we'll go by elimination. If you observe the options very carefully, what you will see is B में ये edge white है, A, C और D में वो edge green है. I will just look at that edge here, which is green. So B गलत है. Between A, C and D, I will now look at what is different. Now between A, C and D, option D is different, very different, which is wrong because if this is going in a slope like how it is shown here, if this is flat और यहाँ से ये ऐसे slope में जा रहा है नीचे, in order for a line to be continuous in the view, in this view, it has to have a crooked line like this. It has to have a curve here when I open it up. So D galat hai. Between A and C, I will look for the evident difference. The evident difference is happening here. Look at that triangle. It's skewed versus in C, it is a regular angle, which I see here. When I observe that bottom part here, it will actually be what it is seen in C and not A. A का बहुत ज़्यादा skewed है. So A का एकदम acute angle है ऐसा, which is not possible. This junction that you see in the plan here, it's actually an angle. Almost, I mean, this looks like the white part looks like a regular pentagon, so it definitely won't be that acute angle. So A is wrong and C will be the correct answer. Any doubt, any questions? Okay. How much distance will the bicycle shown below travel if a pedal makes 1.5 revolutions? Now the pedal is making 1.5 revolution. The diameter is 10. This pedal is connected to another circle to another gear with a diameter of 5 centimeter. It is almost double. If this is making 1.5 revolutions, the revolution made by the smaller circle because the diameter is half. So in the formula of finding the circumference is 2 pi r. In the case where r is half, this will make double. इसका जो भी revolution है उसका double बनाएगा, which means if this is doing 1.5 rotations, this will do 3 rotations. If this smaller gear does 3 rotation, the bigger circle, the bigger wheel will do also 3 rotations. After this, all I have to do is, I know this is doing 3 rotations, all I have to do is, what is the circumference of the bigger wheel, this bigger wheel. Now, why do I need to find the circumference of this wheel? Because this wheel, the front wheel will rotate based on how much ever distance this back wheel is going to cover. So I am not interested in finding the circumference of the front wheel unless and until it is asked in the question that how many rotations will the front wheel make if the pedal is moving 1.5 rotations. But it is given that how much distance will that bicycle travel. The bicycle will travel the distance which, or the rotation that it will travel based on the rotation that the back wheel will make. The back wheel is making 3 rotations. In one rotation, the back wheel will cover how much distance will be. I'll first find out that using the 2 pi r formula. So circumference of circle with 35 centimeter dia will be equal to, it will be pi d 22 by 7 multiplied by 35. So this will be equal to 110 centimeter. Now I know this back wheel is doing 3 rotations. So distance traveled by cycle would be equal to 3 multiplied by 110, which is 330 centimeters. In this case, it's written centimeters, so I don't need to convert it. It will be 330 centimeter. Any doubts? Any questions? Just 1 second, huh? Okay. Let's move to the next one. Sorry, I had to reply somebody. Yeah. 2 water tanks, A and B, of equal square base 3 feet. They're square base, it's of 3 feet. Edge is given to you. You don't need to worry much. So, water flows from tank A to tank B through a tube. What will be the volume of water in tank A when the water stops flowing? In this case, please note that the water will continuously flow until and unless equilibrium is reached. So it will overflow, the water will actually overflow in tank B unless and until an equilibrium, 1 second, is reached here, somewhere here. Unless and until we reach an equilibrium here. What it means is tank B will have only this much volume of water, and tank A will have only this much volume of water, and tank B will have completely filled volume of water like this. Until and unless we don't reach this equilibrium point, the water will keep on overflowing in point B unless and until that level is not established. Now, once I have done that, all I need to find is the distance, the height that we get here. So this height is 1.5 feet. Okay, this height is 1.5 feet because this is 1 feet and this is 0.5. ये पूरा आपका 1 and then plus 0.5 feet. So this the total distance is 1.5. I know the base of the tank A is 3 by 3, which is given here. You have to find the volume of water in tank A. So the volume in tank A will be 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 1.5, which is 13.5. Yeah, 13.5 cubic feet. Any doubts, any questions here? Okay. We'll move to the next one. A solid is shown in the figure. Vertices A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H form a 4 by 2 by 2 cuboid. The segments AI and DI are both of length 5 centimeters and point ICGFB okay, are coplanar. So ICGFB are in the one plane, are in one plane. What is the height of point I from the base EGFH? Okay. Now to find this height once again. I'm more interested in finding this height. I'll just very quickly write the dimensions first. 1 second. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G is 4 by 2 by 2. This is 4, 4, 2, and 2. This is 2, which means I know this much distance. All I need to know is that what is this distance? X. 2 plus how much is what I intend to know. I mean, is what I have to know rather. Just 1 second. In order to find that distance, I will use this triangle, the blue triangle which is drawn. But before that, I need to find the diagonal, I need to find the base of the triangle, which is the hypotenuse. I need to find this base of the triangle. Now this base happens to be the hypotenuse of this triangle. And because I'll use this triangle because I know the side which is 4. I know the base which is 2. The side and the base are known to me. So I'll say this point is X in triangle XDC. Yeah, XDC. I'll say hypotenuse is H. Okay. So H square will be equal to 2 square plus 4 square, which is 4 plus 8. Sorry, 4 plus 16, which is 20. So H square is 20. I'll keep on, I'll just hold on to that. I'll just, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I think it's correct. 4, no, this is 1. Sorry. I'm sorry. This is not 2, this is 1. This is the midpoint. Sorry, this is the midpoint. So this is 1. So it has to be 1 plus 16. So 17, h square is 17 here. Sorry, this is supposed to be 17. Now, I will start looking at the other thing. I, D, ID and X. Now, yeah. So in triangle IDX, ID square is equal to H square, this H square, plus IX square, okay, which is what the dimension X, small x, which I'm looking at. ID square value I know from here, which is 5. So 25 is equal to 17 plus IX square is X square value. 25 minus 17 will be 8. So X ka value is 2 root 2. 2 root 2 value is approximately equal to 2.8 roughly. So the total distance the total distance from base to point I will be equal to 2 plus 2.8, which is 4.8 units. Centimeter, sorry. Any doubts, any questions? Base, I didn't get it. Kavya, Anshi, and Heer, I'm not getting your question. Base will be 1. How will be the base be 1? This is 2, this distance, plus I need to find this x. This is 1. This distance, ये वाला जो distance है, that is 1. This is the midpoint. अच्छा, it was earlier. Okay, okay, fine. ठीक है. Okay, any doubts, any questions? Okay. Move to the next. A figure shows the front view of a convex lens which originally had only one edge. 5 holes of different shapes: triangle, square, pentagon, hexagon, circle, were drilled through it, P, Q, R, S, T, at different points. In such a way that the holes were parallel to each other. Okay. Okay, perpendicular surface. What is the total number of edges in the lens after the holes were drilled? In this case, all I need to do is just find the edges that the holes will form. So a triangular hole will form 3 edges. A square hole will form 4 edges. Sorry. This will be surfaces, sorry. This will be surfaces, and we have to find edges. So this is what a triangular hole will look like. So it will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 9 edges. So I'll just write 9. A square hole will actually have 4, 4, and 4, 8 edges. A pentagon hole will have 5 plus 5 plus 5, which is 15 edges. Hexagon will have 6 into 3, or I'm just writing 18 edges. A circular hole will have a top one edge and then bottom one edge. There is no edge in the circular surface. So circle will have one edge. What is the total number of edges in the hole after the holes were drilled? So the total number of edges that we are looking at, uh, 9 total edges. 9 plus 8 plus 15 plus 18 plus 2 plus 1. This one is this edge, which is there existing. So that's where this one comes to 57. Any doubts, any questions here? Okay. A micro interaction has been designed for a menu icon. On clicking this icon, it changes into a different icon representing black, depicted by an arrow. On another click, it changes back to the menu icon. Shown below are 13 keyframes in the animation. Their order is incorrect, but the ones in the green, they are correct positions. Identify the correct order of the animation. Go to identify the correct order of the animation. Now, if you just observe the options very carefully, it's either 1, 7, 1, 4, or 1, 7. I mean, in all the four, that it's either 1, 7 or 1, 4. So 7 is here and 4 is here. After that, it's 11 or 9. 9 or 11. Just give me 1 minute. 10, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Sorry. Sorry for taking this time. I actually, instead of going, so I tried doing this, but I was not much clear, okay, after one, whether it will be four or whether it will be seven. Because it may go after this position, it may go on that side also, which is given in four, and it may go on the opposite direction if it is taking a very different angle. So both of them are possible. So that's why it was confusing. But 10th position which is given to you, even that is correct, which is given. So ये position आपका सही है, which is provided. Before the 10th position, if one goes sequentially, 10th is looking like this. Before that position, the closest that one can come to this position is, so if you just, I'm not looking at all the options here, but if you just observe the question, it's before 10, it's 5, 2, 3, or 2. Okay, 5, 3, or 2. So it is 5, 3, or 2. Before 10, either of them. 2, now if you observe the option 2, it's not possible because 2 is inverse. 2 is complete inverse of what I see in 10. So if it is an animation, you cannot have an inverse glitch like that. So 2 I will reject. When I'm rejecting 2, I will also reject option D and option B. Now it could be either 5 or 3. Okay. Between 5 is pointing in this direction. And then 3 is pointing slightly at a different angle, but more towards a vertical angle. Now, in order for the animation to function smoothly, I will have to have these two sequentially, which means 5 I will reject out completely, which means option A is wrong, and I will choose option C. I went sequentially was my problem, but there was a reason why this number 10 is provided and it is given that 10th position is correct. So it became actually more easy just by decoding what will come in front and in back of 10. I was able to get, just by decoding that much, I was able to find the correct answer because in that position, all the options are looking very different. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. A square with side, this we have done earlier, so I'm just very quickly running through it. A square with side 5 is given, side 3 is inside, and it is cut along the dotted part. You have to find the area of the shaded region. The area of the shaded region will be 1/4 of the area of the region, which is which you get when you subtract the smaller square from the bigger square. So the remaining area will be of, which is 4 times pink colored part, will be 25, 5 square, which is the area of the bigger square, minus 3 square, smaller square area, 25 minus 9, which is 16. 16 is the area of the remaining part, the whole remaining part. So pink colored part area will be 16 divided by 4, which is 4 centimeters square. Any doubts, any questions in this? Okay. This also we have done earlier. I don't know why it is coming as a doubt again. In this case, whenever you're given, okay, in not only in this case, but whenever you're given a spiral path, you're supposed to find the length of a spiral path. You just take one part. If it is given a spring, if you have to find the length of a spring, which is spiral, of course, you just take one knot which is starting point or end point आपका same हो. आप सिर्फ you just take that much part, which is what is given here, and then you just find that one part का length and then multiply it how many times that knot is happening. So in this case, this one knot is this. All I will do is when I connect these two together, when I cut, 1 second. When I cut along this line and when I open this out and also I cut along the spiral and open it out, what I will find is a triangle like this. X, Y, and Y dash. This point is Y dash and also Y, both. If you very carefully, you know, there's a toilet paper roll with that brown colored infill inside. If you cut along that infill, if you cut that along that infill, you'll actually get a position of how you're seeing this. When you open this out, XY will be the vertical length. Are we given the height? Yes, we're given the height is 5 centimeter. The base YY dash is actually the base here. This is the whole base YY dash. I start with Y, I go around and I come at Y dash, which is the circumference of the circle. उसका diameter आपको दिया है, which is 5 centimeter. So this base will be 5 centimeter is the diameter. So the circumference will be pi d. So 5, sorry, what am I writing? Pi is the base. All you have to find is the hypotenuse, which is the length of that spiral. This is the hypotenuse, which is the length of the spiral. So the hypotenuse or this length will be a square. Length ka square will be 5 square plus 5 square pi square. So I'm just writing this x square will be equal to 25 plus 25 pi square. So x will be root of 25 plus 25 pi square, which is option A is correct here. Any doubts, any questions in this? Okay. In the mechanism hinged to the frame at O, this is a hinge to the mechanism which is hinged to the frame O. In the figure AB, CD, BG, GH are rigid members. The members are rigid, not the joints, okay? The line is rigid. These members are pivoted to each other at point BGDO. If you move the handles A and C in this direction and in this direction, from 1A to 2A or 1C to 2C, identify the corresponding paths of G and H, just G and H, 2 points. Now in this case, if you say, you know, there's this fine tool, ऐसे crisscross वाला आपका ऐसा tool आता है. We also get this ऐसा crisscross वाला tool आता है. So when you bring these two ends together, this will actually expand to something like this. And the length of that tool actually increases. So when I compress it, it will actually become something like this when I compress it. Versus when I open it up, it becomes this, and then if I further increase the angle, it can actually go beyond that also. So you know, there's this nice toy which comes. This mechanism what we are looking is similar to that toy. When I am taking them away, when I'm taking, so here when I'm bringing them together, this goes farther away. This point from the center goes actually farther away. When I'm taking them away, they come together. What it means is when I'm pulling them apart here, the point G will move inside and the point H will actually move outside or towards somewhere at the bottom, vertically bottom, yes, when this goes inside. So the condition where that is actually it will go here, the point H, because this is a rigid joint. So when this goes inside, the H actually goes vertical along this edge. So the option where that is happening, where G is coming in and H is actually going down, is this one, A, which is the correct one. Ye wala, I don't know what is this toy called, but you know, it's literally, it can actually compress itself to form this thing, and then when you open up, you can open up to a very wider extent also. This mechanism is actually similar to this toy. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. In a film, if a film is projected at 90 feet per minute, how many frames will be present in 1 foot of a film? Now, in this case, the assumption given is it's a normal film, and usually it will have 24 FPS, which is 24 frames per second. So within a minute, it will have 24 into 60, which is 1440 frames. 90 feet is the projection for 1 minute, and it consists of 1440 frames, which means 90 feet will have eventually 1440 frames. So 1 feet projection will have 1440 upon 90, which is equal to 16 frames. So C is the correct answer. In this case, ये वाला जो part है, this is what is not given, but this is what is assumed that the student might know about it. Okay? Any doubts, any questions? Okay. Fitts law predicts nearer, wider targets are faster to select than farther, narrower targets. Shown below are the two parts of Indian language virtual keyboards X and Y that demonstrate the input of vowel modifiers, matras. In each case, the first image shows the initial. This is the initial interface. And when you expand upon, so for example, in this case, when I touch upon this part, I will get this kind of a matra thing. In this case, when I click on this part, I will get something like what I see here. Okay. Which of the statements below are true according to Fitts law? In this case, the nearer objects, which is closer to the thumb, will be easier and faster. Now, if you observe the keyboards carefully, ये वाला जो कीबोर्ड है उसमें आपके थंब के everything, basically every matra is equidistant closer to the center part. Versus यहाँ पे center जैसा यहाँ पे आएगा आपका. Even if you consider this to be the center, this will be the farthest one, which will take some time. So what it means is X वाला जो keyboard है will actually take less time compared to the Y keyboard. Why? Because everything is not equidistant in Y, versus in X keyboard, all these matras are equidistant. All the vowel modifiers are equidistant from the center. So users would select vowel modifiers on interface X in less time than Y, which is true. Users would identify vowel modifiers on interface Y in less time than on X, which is wrong. Users would select vowel modifiers on both interface at the same time, no. And Fitts law will have no effect on what? No, that's not possible. So in this case, A is the correct answer. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. In the visual provided, you have to find the diameter of the circle, 12 centimeter. The circle's diameter is 12 centimeters. Now I'm just going to draw one. Sorry, let me draw this first. When I draw this triangle, what you get is the area of this red triangle is equal to, this area is actually equal to the area of the gray part. Why it is equal? The area of the red triangle is equal to the area of the gray shaded part. Why is that so? Because यहाँ का ये वाला जो आपका difference है, it gets taken care of by this. Likewise here and here, and likewise here and here. So eventually आपका जो red वाला triangle का area है is equal to the gray shaded part वाला area. I know the diameter is 12, which means ये वाला जो मेरा edge है is the side is 6 centimeters. I know the side is 6 centimeters. The area of the shade is an equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle ka area is √3/4, I think. √3/4 a square. 1 second. Can anybody just help me? Yeah, √3/4 a square. This A is the area of the side. This A is the side, sorry, length of the side. This will be equal to √3/4 into 6 square, not 12, which will be equal to approximately, it comes to 15.5 or 15.58 centimeters square. Any doubts, any questions in this? Okay. We'll end today's session with this. Thank you so much.